What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and we are here today with the review for The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This is season 1, episode number 10. The episode is titled In Hot Water, you guys. Do anybody know how many episodes are left of this season? I know someone on Twitter said that they said it was 13 episodes. Does that include 13 plus the 2-part reunion? Literally, I hope it's a 1-part reunion because this season it's been a good season, but I can do with a 1-part reunion in Salt Lake City. But without further ado, you guys, let's get into this episode, shall we? All right, you guys, so we're not going to go in any particular order with this episode review. So I'm going to start up with Heather. Now, in this episode, there wasn't a lot in a solo scene with Heather. There were, scenes with Heather in it, but this solo scene with Heather, it just wasn't a lot. So we see Heather, and you guys know she is, building her her business. She's actually, making the business bigger. I applaud her for that. I will say though that when you see Heather in these scenes where she's doing her business stuff, I look at Heather in a completely different light. Like, I like Heather in these settings, but when she's talking about her ex-husband, the religion, is just like, I still want Heather to find the self-worth that I know that's deep in her, the self-love. I want her to find all of that in herself. And because you can see it with her business, you can definitely see it in her business, but I want her to exude it, from her, just exude it. But, she's talking to her business partner. Her business partner is telling her that once they open up the business, she wants Heather to take both of them to take a salary. And so Heather's like, well, if she takes a salary, then she won't take money from Billy. I was like, bull fucking shit. You survived that marriage with him, right? So he owes you. So take that alimony to keep your money and his money. You still have his kids, so don't be stupid, Heather, and say, I don't need your money, Billy. Take that money. Take the money. But yeah, that's pretty much it with Heather. Like I said, wasn't really a lot in her solo scenes, but we will talk about Heather in just a few minutes. So let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys, next let's talk about Mary Crosby. So we see Mary, and Mary is in that cluttered ass closet. It just looks like she needs to be on an episode of Hoarders, because that closet is just a clusterfuck of shit. And then she was trying on some clothes, and I'm just like, Mary, that doesn't go together. I'm glad she said that it doesn't go together, because I'm like, Mary, everything that you put together doesn't go together. The pieces that you wear, they don't match. They don't go together. They don't look right. From the top to the bottom, nothing ever looks right with Mary. I hope, with the reunion, I hope that Mary did better. I hope she hired somebody to style her for the reunion. Oh God. I'm interested to see these first season reunion looks. The two people that I'm interested to see their reunion looks is Mary and Jen. Although I can't stand Jen, and we're gonna talk about Jen in a little bit. So while Mary was trying on her clothes, Whitney FaceTimed her, and Whitney was telling, what's her name? Mary, that, when she went to Sharif's, surprise party, she told Jen what Mary had told her about Meredith and Lisa. Hell, even Mary said, that was a surprise party. Even I wouldn't have done that. I'm like, damn, it's really sad when Mary Crosby says that she won't do something. You fucked up when Mary says what she wouldn't do. And it makes sense. And I'm gonna read into Whitney, although I love Whitney, but I'm gonna say some stuff about Whitney later in the episode. But Mary does say that the girls did tell her that they are afraid of Jen. And do I believe Mary? 100. I do. I do believe Mary. I do believe that is something that, Lisa and Meredith said. They might not have said verbatim that they're afraid of her. Mary could have had a conversation with them about, like, why come you guys don't stand up for me when you guys know what she's doing is wrong? And they probably could have said, we don't want the reaction of Hurricane Jen. And that's probably what they could have said. Now, do I think that they're afraid of Jen? Nobody should be. So I hope they're not. But let's move on. All right, you guys, next let's discuss Lisa. Wasn't a lot with Lisa either. So the first part of the episode we saw Lisa, she was talking to her husband John, and they were discussing the party. Again, I don't get what Lisa's issue with Whitney is. I'm not understanding it. It was a hip hop party. Depending on what type of music they was playing, if they were playing like City Girls or whatever, some music that you twerk to, what the fuck you think somebody's gonna do? Just stand up against the wall and be like, do you just expect somebody just to hug the wall and just dance? And she's talking about people's husbands were there, and that's so inappropriate. How is that inappropriate to dance, to twerk, to do whatever, to dance, to twerk, whatever, at a party where it's a hip hop party? And like I said, again, depending on what type of music they were playing, knowing and looking at Jen, I'm assuming Jen is the type of chick that, because Jen, we all can tell that Jen, thinks she's a certain type of person. I'm not gonna say it, but you guys know what I'm thinking. I hope you guys do. I'm pretty sure Jen is probably playing Cardi B. They filmed this in 2019, so Meg Thee Stallion was out. I don't know what album. Meg Thee Stallion was out at that time. City Girls. Like, I'm pretty positive Jen was playing, hip hop, rap. I'm pretty, Nicki Minaj. The list can go on. So I don't think that she was playing, some, I don't think she was playing anything like Carrie Underwood, Miley Cyrus, Taylor Swift. Give me some, name some other pop people. I don't think she was playing pop music. I think she was literally playing rap music. So if that's the case, then shit, you're gonna do what you're gonna do. But for her to say that people's husbands were there, I'm just like, what did that have to do with the thing? Was your husband there? Sharif was there. It was a party for Sharif. Sharif didn't seem too bothered by it, so I don't know why Lisa was bothered by it. Lisa has a hard on for Whitney. But she does, mention to John what Whitney said, that, she told Jen that Mary told her that Lisa and Meredith said that they were afraid of Jen. Lisa is, vehemently saying that she didn't say it. She's not afraid of her. Now, like I said, I don't believe she's afraid of her. I believe she is afraid to confront Jen. I think all of the women are afraid to confront Jen because she's like the Tasmanian devil. And I think that's what the issue is. So then we see Lisa having this event later in the episode, and she shaded the entire cast. Like, she only had Meredith there. Now, at this point, because I know that I've heard some things about, the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City cast. I've heard that originally Mary was a friend of the Housewives. That's why her scenes are so limited. And then that other girl who was at the Capitol, Sarah, who was in last week's episode with Whitney, she was a full-time housewife, but they demoted her. And I think I've heard that they demoted her because of her conspiracy theories with QAnon and all that kind of stuff. I'm glad they did, because if she was on here talking about QAnon, who, any of that shit, I wouldn't be talking about her. I would completely gloss over her. Like I said, I'm gonna do if Jen comes back for season 2. I'm gonna gloss over Jen. But let's move on. All right, you guys, next let's talk about Meredith and Seth. Now, the first thing that we saw with Meredith and Seth, it was really cringeworthy, because Seth had those ski goggles. He told her to put them on. I'm just like, why? And then he was like, this is my bucket list, having sex with ski goggles on. I'm like, huh? And she was like, well, how about, high heels? So I'm like, whatever. So then he asked her how was Sharif's party, and she tells him the same thing that, Lisa said to John. My neighbor, I don't know what she's doing. What was I at? Okay, she was telling Seth about the party. Whitney telling Jen that she and Lisa said that they were afraid of her and it came from Mary, and she's denying it as well. And then she also mentions the fact that Whitney had told her that Jen had been going around saying things about them and their relationship, which she's at this point, Lisa wants to distance herself from the group, which I understand that. If you are going around and spreading rumors about my marriage, then I don't want to be around you. And I know a few weeks ago on Twitter, Meredith, she did tweet about it, what she saw. She tweeted about it. This reunion is going to be interesting for these women. It's going to be really, really interesting. Because Jen is going to be the bad guy at the reunion, I can tell you that right now. I wonder what the seating chart is. Now, I did see I saw a fake seating chart on Twitter where they had on one side, it was, who was it? It was Mary, I think it was Heather. They had Brooks and Meredith. I was like, why would they do that? But yeah, this reunion is going to be interesting because Jen is going to be in a hot seat with a lot of the women. Mary, Meredith, and I'm pretty sure Whitney. I don't know about Lisa. I don't think she'll be in a hot seat with Lisa. From the scenes from next week's episode, it looks like she might be in a hot seat with Heather, but I have to wait till next week to see what next week's episode gives us. So then we see Meredith and Seth go on a double date with, the Barlows. When they kissed, that was hella awkward, to say the least. But, they do end up telling Lisa and John that they are back together with each other. They did tell her, what Jen said, what she heard that Jen had said. Now, Lisa in her interview says she doesn't believe it. I'm like, girl, after watching this season, I know you believe it now because it's the truth. Jen was talking shit. Like, it's got to be, we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Let's move on. All right, guys, let's talk about Whitney real quick. So Whitney, she met up with Heather at her business, and they were discussing the party. Now, as much as I love Whitney, I have to call Whitney out on her shit. So, I don't even know if I said it in last week's review. I probably did. I don't remember. But last week was Sharif's party. I get what Whitney was trying to do, but that was the wrong time and the wrong place. And I can't even believe I'm saying that with this involving Jen. But that was the wrong place to tell Jen that all that stuff. And that was the wrong place to tell Meredith. So now, Whitney also felt some type of way about Heather chiming in. But Whitney, you were, 3 sheets to the wind. So don't be too mad. But what Whitney wants to do, she wants to get together with Heather and Jen, and they just want to discuss to Jen about, how they feel about her behavior. And they want to, Whitney wants to explain where she was coming from. Again, I don't know why these women tiptoe around Jen. Jen is like a chihuahua. She's all bark. Like I said last week, I know I said this in last week's review, Jen is all bark, no bite. Like, Jen will scream at you, she'll yell at you, she'll throw shit, but she won't do shit. So I don't know why these women fear Jen so much. I just don't get it. The only person who doesn't fear Jen is Mary. So then we see Heather and Whitney, and they're heading into this spa. Now, it was a rather interesting looking spa. And, Jen is coming. Jen actually got on my nerves talking about the spot on her way there. Somebody was 3 hours from her home. Well, shit, you the dumbass that drove 3 hours. If you're talking about let's go to a spa, and the spa is, I'm not gonna drive an hour out of my way for a spa. The most I will go is 30 minutes. I'm not going 45, I'm not going 50, and I'm definitely not going over an hour. So Jen, you the dumbass. But she was complaining. So, now I don't know what the weather was like. I don't know if it was cold outside and maybe those pools were heated, but they soak in some pools. Actually, it wasn't a pool, it was a bathtub. So Whitney starts off by apologizing to Jen. She thought about it and she knew she was wrong for what she did. Jen. I was on Jen's side for 1 second because that wasn't the right time or the right place to do this. But Jen wants to then go off and blame Whitney for the fact that Sharif hasn't been home since the party. He left and he didn't come back home. He's upset with her. When she calls him, he doesn't answer the phone. How the fuck is that Whitney's problem? Explain that shit to me, please. Like, how the fuck is that her problem? Like, how the fuck is that her problem? I just don't get it. And I even tweeted this. Sharif is obviously cheating on you. I hate to say that, but that man is cheating on you. And we're going to discuss it in just a little bit. But it's got to be exhausting. It's got to be frustrating to be friends with the likes of Jinsha. Let's move on. All right, you guys. Lastly, let's talk about Jen. As much as I don't want to talk about her, let's talk about her. Jesus be offense, because I really can't stand this woman. I don't think there's any housewife in the history of Housewives that I just cannot tolerate. I'm really thinking. I mean, me and Claudia Jordan got into a Twitter beef with each other, and she blocked me on Twitter at one point. And even when me and Claudia got into it, it wasn't something I was like, I really can't stand that woman. Me and Claudia got into it. That's actually the only housewife that I've ever gotten into it with on Twitter. It's Claudia. Yeah, that's it, Claudia. Like, I don't like Teresa, but I mean, I can semi-stomach the woman. Who's another housewife that I just really can't stand? Kelly Dodd. As much as I dislike Kelly Dodd, I can tolerate Kelly over Jinsha. And that's saying a lot. That's saying a whole hell of a lot because I think Kelly's an idiot. But Jen, nonetheless, let's talk about Jen. So this was, I don't know when this scene that she was making up the bed was filmed, but I know it's after the party. And she's talking about the fact that Sharif is not talking to her. And, in my notes it says, you might want to reevaluate your marriage. Because I really think that she should reevaluate her marriage. Because, granted, yes, you acted a fool at the party, but it wasn't that bad for him to go off for 4 days and not answer your phone call you, or anything like that. Okay, so let's say the party happened on Friday, and I'm upset with you. Yes, I'm gonna be upset with you. First of all, where the fuck did he go for 4 days? That's what you should be asking. If he didn't go home to his parents, where did he go? That's why I feel that Sharif has a side chick. Just being honest with you guys. But that's a big problem that he's not answering your phone. Now, yes, being mad at you for 1 day, that's cool. Take a day to cool down, but add 3 more days to that? Nah, don't work that way. So then we do see Sharif and he returns home. And, Jim was like, we haven't talked in 4 days. He was like, I was so upset with you. You weren't that upset. 4 days. It took you 4 days to calm down about her drinking. Really, Sharif? Miss me with the bullshit. You was laid up with another chick. Just say what it was. So then he asked her why is she drinking. She says, well, she's drinking to numb the pain. Now in this scene, when she said, she's dealing with her, still, grieving her dad, that part I definitely understood, because I still grieve my mom, and it's been 3 years since my mom passed away. This March will be 4 years. So I'm still grieving my mother, and I understand that. I definitely do understand that part. And my heart actually does go out to Jen. But that doesn't give you the right to attack the women, do the things that you do, when your real issue is not with the women, your issue is with your husband. And the thing that I have a big issue with Sharif, because she's talking about she's numbing the pain of him not being around and her dad. The issue that I have with Sharif the most is her dad's funeral. He didn't go to the hospital. He wasn't at the hospital. Now, I understand not going to the hospital. I'm about to say something. I understand not going to the hospital. I actually feel the same. I kind of feel similar to Mary, not about the hospital smell. I just don't like going to hospitals because it's a sad place to be. It's a very, very sad place to be. Like back in my hometown, the hospital that my mother and my grandmother passed away, I don't like going to that. I don't like going to that particular hospital. Like if you tell me anybody in my family is in that hospital, I will not. I'm sorry, I won't go because it just brings back it just brings back really bad memories for me. So that's why I don't really particularly care for hospitals. And even when I get sick, I don't like to go to the hospital. I just don't like going to the hospital. So it's not the smell, it's just that I just don't like dealing with the hospitals that much. But if I need to go, I will go. But then the other thing that bothers me about Sharif is he didn't go to her dad's funeral. Now that's a big problem right there. Like yes, I get it, you're a coach, but every job has bereavement time, so they'll give you the days off to be with your family. I'm pretty sure it's more to this relationship that's not being discussed. Everything is being swept under the rug. But hey, if Jen likes it, I love it. And it got shit to do with me. But that is the review for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, you guys. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell notification button so you guys are aware of when I drop anything else. Also, you guys do me a solid favor. Go over to the Planner channel. Subscribe to that channel as well. And you just click the link in the bottom bar. It'll be there, my Planner channel link, my Twitter handle, my Instagram handles, my regular Instagram, and my Planner Instagram. Also, you guys, my affiliate link is in the description bar as well. Check that out. And also, you guys, remember, wash your hands, wear your mask, and socially distance. And into the next one, you guys, I will see you guys later. I will see you guys tomorrow for Growing Up Hip Hop Atlanta. Then we'll be back on Friday for the week's hottest topics, as well as Life After Lockup and the Bell Collective. Bell Collective has already been recorded, so you guys will get that one probably around the time that the episode is airing. I had actually scheduled it, but then I realized it was probably a premiere, and I didn't want to do a premiere because I'm not going to be in the comment section with you guys. But I'll see you guys Thursday and Friday, and that'll be it. We'll be off until Sunday. But you guys have a great one, and I will see you guys later. Bye.